everybody, hope you are all doing so well. Thank you so much for being here. Today I really just want to do something kind of neutral and simple. I've been playing with so much color just because I adore color, but my just incredible sister-in-law, she gave me a bunch of kind of makeup hand-me-downs and some lovely new makeup, so I want to play with some of that today. And yeah, I just want to have some fun and create a really pretty kind of smoky brown look. I do want to pop on some chapstick. I really have been loving, these are the Crazy Rumors. This is a blueberry lemon, but these are vegan, which I really like because I do have, I think, some sensitivity when it comes to anything with beeswax. So since this does not have beeswax, that is a plus for moi. So I think today I'm going to play with Natasha Denona Camel Palette, and this is just a 5-pan palette that my sister-in-law just found meh. So we'll kind of play with it today. It is kind of camel, I think, is a great color for it, or name for the palette, because it is warmy but kind of grungy warmy. It's more greeny kind of brown. So we'll see how this translates onto the eyes. She also gave me a little blush palette and then a Eldridge lipstick, which is brand new, so I'm excited to try that out. I think I first want to put on some eyeshadow primer and just kind of get the lids ready to go. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of come on and do something that I don't often do, which is just kind of come on and talk and say hi, a little maybe get ready with me kind of action, just because I really don't think I often talk too much, at least on the makeup side, about myself. So I thought I could maybe delve in a little bit onto who I am, what I like, all that sort of jazz, just to have something to talk about. So in this lovely little camel palette, there are 3 colors. The 2 kind of lighter matte shades, though, they're pretty similar to me. I'm kind of surprised. There are 2, one is Safari and one is Arosto, I believe. And it's just kind of surprising that these 2 shades are in here. Like, they look too similar to me to be within this palette, but we will definitely play with both and see the dimension of both of them. All right, so I'm gonna go into kind of that lightest shade in the middle, definitely pigmented. Go in and kind of just put that right into the transition area. This does look to be like a palette that would be great for everyday or work kind of makeup. I'm pretty lucky that now that I'm working from home, I really can experiment and play with makeup, and it really doesn't make too much of a difference. Although I always, or not always, but the past year when I was going into the office, I work for Paramount Pictures, if you don't know, and I work doing music clearance for our marketing campaigns, which is pretty cool. But obviously, because of COVID, the lot was kind of shut down for the Paramount employees, and I really can do most of my job, pretty much all my job, on the computer at home. So, you know, if you don't have to risk the lives of people in an office, why would you? So anyway, back when I was going into the office, I kind of made it my thing every morning on Friday mornings, because I had, I do miss kind of going to the gym, but I had this really great strength training class every morning, and I think it started at 5:30. It went from 5:30 to 6:30 every Friday morning, and I then would go home, or maybe it was 6:30 to 7:30. Anyway, I would go home, shower up, and then, oh, it was 5:30 then, because then the timing would have actually worked for my schedule. Anyway, I would go home, shower up, and then I would have kind of this extra allotted time to play with makeup on Fridays. And I always felt like, you know, Fridays I can be a little bit more adventurous with my makeup or play with color or whatnot. Because on most days for work, I don't think there's any guidelines that I need to adhere to. Obviously, nothing inappropriate, but at work, they're pretty good with people being able to kind of express themselves and that sort of thing. So I was pretty happy that I was able to kind of wear what I wanted, and I think people kind of got used to Ashley wears a lot of makeup kind of thing. Just kind of is part of who I am. I've always really enjoyed makeup. But anyway, I made these Fridays out to be days where I would kind of experiment with makeup and see what kind of looks I could create. It wasn't really until quarantine here where I really started to take it a little bit more seriously, I suppose, and really start to try to kind of push my boundaries in my box of what I wanted to do, how I wanted to kind of put things out online and all of that. Well then, yeah, okay. About 25 sneezes later, we do have all that blended out, and it does look quite beautiful. This would be such an easy look to pop something like this in the crease and then put on kind of this lighter, kind of goldy, pearly shade all over the lid, and done, put on mascara. So that's one thing that I do like about palettes like this, is it's a very simple kind of foolproof eyeshadow. It's easy enough for you or for most people to kind of get the grasp of where I probably would place shadow and that sort of thing. I'm now going into the little bit darker matte shade and putting that more into the crease on a bit more of a tapered kind of crease brush, just to really build out the outer area, which I want to get real nice and smoky. So for work, I basically help to make sure all our music is clear for our trailers and TV spots and internet spots and all of that. I went to school for recording arts, so I went to school for more so the behind the scenes of it all, of actually either making an album or doing post-production on a movie or a commercial or trailer, that sort of thing. And I definitely tried when I came out to Los Angeles to do things like that, and I had more than I probably wanted to have of different unpaid internships here in Los Angeles, that I definitely got a good taste of what it would be like, and to be either an engineer or someone who kind of worked more in the post life. And it's definitely a tough, kind of grueling job, and a lot of the time you are waiting for the artist, and it is not something that you have a whole lot of control over when it comes to your own schedule, and you can be there, you know, till 3 in the morning when they decide, like, oh yeah, we're not going to show up, and you're just waiting around. And it just, I'm grateful for all my internship experiences, that's for sure, but I don't think it was something that really I felt in the end was what I wanted to do. So then I kind of learned from a different internship a little bit more about music libraries and what that kind of all entailed, and how much music and the whole industry that really is music for media, and all the music that you hear either in reality television or the amazing kind of scores now that they have in all of the amazing TV shows is kind of mind-blowing. Obviously, many people like Euphoria. That has such an amazing, you know, not soundtrack, I suppose. But just looking into careers like music supervision and that sort of thing were probably what I felt was a bit more in line with what I wanted to do. So I started really applying for more jobs in that kind of vein, and I ended up at Paramount, which was pretty darn lucky, because I don't know anybody in the industry by any means, and it was one of those things where I just continued to apply over and over to jobs. And I remember getting my interview at Paramount, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting this job, so I'm just kind of gonna be happy with being able to be on this lot and kind of just enjoy the experience of just being there and seeing what everything was like. And lo and behold, I ended up getting the position. So it's pretty amazing sometimes how things can work, and I do think right place, right time, and I do think there is definitely a bit of luck involved in cracking into the studio system if you're looking to do that. But just keep trying and keep applying. I applied for a job every day for close to a year, if not more. I really pushed as much as I could to try to get something where my goal in life was always to try to find a career that made me happy and fulfilled, so that it didn't feel like work. And I'm lucky to at least be in an industry that I love. I love film. I really enjoy entertainment. And I just feel really grateful for having, especially now in the pandemic, a job, and one where I get to work from home. I'm really very, very lucky. I am now going to go into the darkest matte shade here, which kind of is gray, not gray, but it does have almost like a gray undertone to the brown. But I really did get quite a lot of smokiness built up, so this will definitely enhance that even more. I did get a little bit of skipping, which isn't my favorite, but it did get a little better as I blended the other color over it. But skipping is not my favorite thing to happen when it comes to matte shades here. But yeah, I do love how smoky that is looking. A very natural smoke is always welcome in my opinion. When it comes to movies, I pretty much love most film. I'm not a really big horror person. I've definitely learned to appreciate certain kind of horror. But I'm much more grew up on loving a good old rom-com, that is for sure. And I have very fond memories of watching lots of rom-coms with my girlfriends and enjoying the movies for humorous kind of actions. It wasn't until high school where I really started to kind of learn a bit more, I would say, about cinema, and realized that there was a true art when it came to making film. And there really can be something quite amazing when you watch a film that is done really, really well. I would probably say my favorite film is Back to the Future. I really adore, it has a lot of memorabilia, not memorabilia, it has a lot of nostalgia for me, as I remember growing up and watching that film quite a lot, and always really loving it. And I even, as a kid, made my own board game consisting of different like trivia questions from Back to the Future. And I remember just really enjoying everything about the movie and feeling like there was this whole other world within, you know, watching and seeing that, you know, cinema and movies really are an escape and really are an art form for people to be able to live in and experiment and dream and kind of believe what they want to believe within this space, you know. And that's definitely why I miss going to the movies, but it certainly is not safe, in my opinion, at the moment to go to the movie theater. So I have this beautiful kind of shimmer shade that we're gonna put all over, and then we'll kind of bring that lightest shade in as well. But I think I am just gonna go in on my finger and take it. It's just like a beautiful kind of goldy copper color, and it looks, once it hits the light, it to me is much, you know, shinier there, as you can see on my finger comparatively from the pan. I'm just gonna go in and place that kind of all over my lid space. Ooh, that is very pretty. I do enjoy that like kind of coppery warmth that's within there. It just plays really well with all the other matte shades. I'm gonna go in and kind of blend the edges together a little bit, just so that it kind of is a bit more seamless on that edge. And I think I'll wait, but we'll probably take that lightest shade and put that all within the inner corner and really let that play up off of one another. Looks a little uneven here on this side, so I'm gonna kind of take and blend out a little bit. Really nice. So I'm going to put on the rest of my face that does not include new products and then bring you back in for some of the other fun new things my sister-in-law got me. All right, so I've put on majority of my face here, but we're gonna add all the fun things on. So I got this Benefit Cheeky Sweet Spot. I think this is a year old. I think this was from last year's like 2019's Christmas, but it was never used. And they're just powder products, really. So the Cheeky Sweet Spot here has a nice little variety. It came with a tiny little brush, which I've never gotten a full size of one of the Benefits cheek products, but I know either people love or hate these brushes, so I'll try this one, although the little one, yeah, I don't know, maybe this won't work as well. But the What's Up is like a little cream highlight. I think I'm just gonna go into Hoola here, which I feel like I've definitely had Hoola at some point in my life. But we'll just kind of put that right in our cheekbone area. Yeah, okay, well that's real dark. But stamp that in on, stamp that in on, stamp that on in. And then we will definitely have to, I'll just take whatever is left here and kind of buff it around my hairline, which is always where I put a good amount of bronzer. But just kind of let that go around the hairline. I'm not quite sure if I'm seeing a whole lot happening with that, but here by the cheek, obviously we'll need to kind of blend that on out, which actually blends out pretty well. Oh, the hair definitely fell from the brush. It's a little awkward because of how tiny it is. It's kind of hard for me to get a good grasp on being able to kind of get a good circular motion. Whereas if I have like a brush here, I'm able to hold it lower at the base and have a little bit more control, which is interesting because I'm closer. I guess I should have more control, but maybe I just want these bristles. They're quite dense, but something about this motion is a little, I don't know, not my favorite, but I do think that looks pretty. It is a little more concentrated than I probably would have liked, but blends out pretty well for how kind of strong it looked going on the skin here. But it also feels like I'm rubbing so hard with this brush that I would imagine anybody that needs like or wants full coverage, like either concealer on their cheeks or foundation, this rubs so hard, or at least I feel like I have to rub this so hard that would definitely, I think, kind of come off. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, it's definitely not the softest of bristles. They're not hard by any means, but just kind of interesting, I suppose. But yeah, this side I didn't have too much. I'm gonna go in with more of just an angled brush of my own here and take it and kind of buff it in. And I like this more because not only I feel like I have a little bit more control with where I'm putting the product, which is funny because obviously this is larger, but I'm used to this motion. But this is also a lot softer and I don't feel like I really need to go in hard. I guess I probably also could go in lighter with that other one, but you know, as you utilize products and different tools more, they usually get a little bit easier to handle. It is always amazing to me though, Hoola looks pretty light in the pan, but on the face actually comes off kind of strong. I'm also gonna go under the jawline here. I think for the color today, we're gonna try Coralista on as a blush because I want this to be a little bit more neutral, and peaches are a little bit more neutral comparatively to like a pink, and the other ones are a little bit more pink. Rock is a little, I guess, mauve-y toned, but I think Coralista will kind of be our best bet today, and it looks like it definitely will have some kind of luminosity here. Don't know if I love that. It looks like it's kind of accentuating my pores here on my cheek, which doesn't look very cute. So maybe Coralista I should use more as just a highlight on the tops of my cheeks. I don't mind the color. It's almost, it has too much shine in it that it doesn't make it look super flattering, I suppose. Yeah, like the cheeks look, I obviously could put in or should have put on then more of like a pore filling primer on my cheeks, but I really see my pores on my cheeks more than I normally do, and I don't even consider my cheeks to have like super large pores. So I'm just gonna kind of pat that in with my sponge and maybe go over, or maybe we'll just kind of leave it as is, because I still have some sort of flush on my cheek, just not my favorite, so good to know. I'm going to use Sugar Bomb, which I'm not sure if they describe as being a highlight. Hold on, they did come with a little thing here. Oh, it even told you kind of how they want you to, gives you little tips on how to do it, tips and tricks. Yeah, Coralista, they were going in circular motions, so, I don't know about that. Still, I don't know. Maybe I have to play with it more. I don't think any of these other ones really, it says cheek and brows for the What's Up, but I'm gonna just go into the kind of lightest part of Sugar Bomb here and use that on the top of my cheek and give kind of a soft glow here. Because this one definitely looks to be kind of the brightest, but I guess I could just also try Coralista because that one also looks to have the most shimmer and shine. But I'm not going for anything outrageous, I guess, for the highlight today, which, you know, good to change things up a little bit because I certainly love when my highlight glows for ages. Yeah, I know I like Dandelion, which I will use. I probably will utilize Hula. Coralista, I'll probably have to use more as a highlight because I don't love how it's accentuating my pores. Bella Mama looks like a really pretty color as well. It's a little bit deeper, but has kind of a lot of that shine as well. And then Rock here, I'll probably really like too because it's a bit more mauve-y toned. But blended out, they do have pretty qualities, all of them, but they are all fairly similar as well. Like, I'm not sure how different you will really, the difference you'll see in them if I wore them all individually. But I do think Benefit has kind of that tricky formula where you look at it and it doesn't maybe look as pigmented as it actually can be on the skin. So always take things as they actually are when you put them on your face, not just as they look in the pan. So for my eye, I want to put on, I think, a little bit of liner because my sister-in-law got me, or at least didn't want to use one of these options, a Tom Ford eye defining pen. And this is 01 Deeper, but it looks like one side has a brush tip and one side, I believe, is, yes, a little felt tip, which is interesting to have a two-sided pen. It is, I will say, Tom Ford, she has given me other products from Tom Ford. It does feel super luxurious. I have no idea how much it costs, but probably a very outrageous price that I would not normally pay for liquid liner. But I'm just going to quickly kind of line my eyes, and then we'll go in and kind of give maybe a little bit of definition on that lower lash and definitely highlight that inner corner area. Well, today was one of those days where the liner did not come to me easily. It took quite a long time, and it's almost like I wonder if the felt tip I would like better on this. It is a very beautifully rich and pigmented pen, but it almost doesn't have enough stiffness on the brush tip for me to have an easy time kind of drawing the line. Like any slight little squiggle or move that my arm made it very difficult to get kind of more sharper defined lines. But still, I do enjoy a nice deep pen, so I like that the black is very black and rich. So let's go in now though and use kind of that highlighter shade to brighten up that inner corner, because I feel like I need it there pretty badly. So I'm just going in with like a little pencil brush and putting this lightest shade right in that inner corner to brighten it on up. Then, I don't know, I feel like I want just something a little bit on that lower lash line. So I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush on the lightest of the matte shades and just kind of run a little bit of that color under my eye, just so we have a bit of definition, but I don't think I want much beyond that. Yeah, that's just enough of a little bit of color to kind of tie it all in. I do have a lipstick from Lisa Eldridge, which I'm not sure how long these have been out, but this is the True Velvet Lip color, and this is in the color Velvet Muse, I believe. Let's see if it says that on the bottom as well. Yes, Velvet Muse. I've heard wonderful things about these lipsticks, and I think this will look really pretty with our look today, but it is really interesting because the bullet looks like it's been pressed with like texture almost on the outside when it cooled or hardened in the bullet. Just very interesting. On the top you can see it's kind of shiny, but on the sides it looks matte. There's like a little smudge that you'll probably be able to see, but on the sides it's just this lightest little texture. If I kept the picture, I will definitely show you a picture of it as well. Beautifully weighted bullet, and I know the cap is also magnetized, so definitely feels very luxurious, which is kind of fun. But let's put this on and see what it looks like. Definitely not the most forgiving shade when it comes to having any sort of texture on your lips. I did not, what is the word? Exfoliate before this, and I definitely should, as you can really see the texture, which is not cute in my opinion. But I do like the color, and the formula feels nice, but again, I am just not like a velvet matte kind of person. I love a good gloss, so I can definitely put a gloss on top of this, something a little bit gold and shiny, and perhaps this color would have fared well with a what am I trying to say? A lip pencil as well to define it first. But I do like the color. I don't know if I love the color with this eye. Not quite sure, because this is a little bit more kind of greeny toned on my eye, and this is more pinky toned on my lips, so I do feel like they're clashing a little bit. But I definitely wanted to try the lip on, but I do think I'm going to take it off and probably end up just with some gloss, because that's just who I am. Yeah, so I decided to just put on this Très Chic, this is Florence Fig, and then I topped it with an ABH gloss in the color Bubbly, which is kind of like a goldy, shifty color, which is pretty, and I like this a lot more than the color here. It was just almost, although they look quite similar, don't they? But this looked a little too pinky, or it just didn't look good to me, so I passed on it. I am going to put on some mascara, and I'm excited to try this Bambi eye again. I used this, I'm not sure when, but I used it yesterday and I was pretty pleased, although this is waterproof, so I'm trying to find a non-waterproof mascara that does me justice, but it's hard to find, so I don't know. Someday I'll find a good, you know, drugstore mascara, not waterproof, that works well on my lashes. But for now, let me just curl these up, get some mascara on, and then we will close it on out. All right, so I put on this Bambi Eye mascara, and it does give me long lashes, but I do think it kind of lacks in that voluminizing area. But overall, I'm pleased with the look. Of course, it is nothing exceptional. It is a basic brown smoky eye with some liner. I do like this Camel palette from Natasha Denona. I do wonder though how many different things you could do with this. I could definitely pull out at least 1 or 2 looks that look a little bit different, especially if you do a halo eye and you just stick to the one shimmer comparatively to the other, that sort of thing. But considering these 2 mattes are just so similar, I really think it's one of those where I can tell why my sister-in-law passed it on to me. I will put it that way. I do not think I would ever pay kind of full price for this because it is just a basic brown, not quad, quint? I believe it's called a quint, right? Whatever, 5 pans. And then I did like the lipstick. I should really do better about, you know, exfoliating before I try on a lipstick, because I know a lot of people really do like this formula, and it does look like a beautiful color. It just, I love shine on my lips. I also do think that the colors within this Sweet Cheeks, or the Cheeky Spot, from Benefit, I'm excited to try more of them out, and a lot of these I think are very much their kind of tried and true. Like, people definitely love Hoola, Coralista, Rockateur. I've definitely heard of these, and I'm excited to try them for my own. I just didn't love how Coralista kind of looked on my cheek. I love a luminous cheek, but I don't like it settling into my pores. But of course, I could have tried putting on pore filling primer as well to kind of help negate that. But other than that, that's pretty much just some of the things that my sister-in-law got me. I know in the beginning I was talking about movies and stuff, so maybe at some point I will do something a little bit more a kind of a getting to know me kind of thing. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to put them in the comments. And wherever you are and whatever you may be doing, I hope you are able to do something you love every single day. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye, guys.